Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Sweet Tooth, where we kind of talk to some of the people who make Sweet Tooth possible. Today we have Mary Ann Hille, who is a Tulsan, longtime Tulsan, and also has a book. She has two books, but we have the one book right now we have in Sweet Tooth. And this is Mary Ann. Mary Ann, how are you today?
Hi, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Let me just show everybody the book, King of the Road Trip. Now, Mary Ann, I wanted to tell you before we get started here is that I have not finished the entire book yet. So if you have any, surprise endings, don't tell me, okay? Or just tell me and I'll leave for a while and then I'll come back, okay?
You're all right. You'll be fine.
Okay, good. Well, this is your second book.
Yes.
And I believe it was on the, isn't that right? Did you have another one?
Yes.
And so, and I believe it was on the Oklahoma bestseller list.
Yes, it was for 1 week.
Yeah, I think so. That was exciting. Oh, and I want to tell everybody that they're all signed books, so first edition signed. So, Mary Ann, how did you get into writing?
Oh, well, I've always enjoyed writing, but I started writing this book because I was taking a class in writing. I took a class from Teresa Miller at OSU, and we had to present something to the class every week. And so I had in my head that I was going to start writing a book. And this was the first book that I wrote, Ruby the Rowboat book about the lake. And so I had some ideas in my head about how to do that. And so taking a class was okay. You have to show up every week and you have to present something. So having a deadline really helps, or it helped me. So we'd have to bring these things to read to class. And that was absolutely terrifying. You had to read them out loud to the class, and then they would comment. Although Teresa is wonderful, she said, we don't want to hear any bad comments. If you can't say something nice like Thumper, don't say anything. So that was really the impetus. That got me started, and that got me through my first book. And so when I decided I wanted to write another book about road trips, then about all the crazy vacations that we went on, then I took another class from Teresa, so I'd have a deadline.
That's good. Yeah. Well, Teresa, we have Teresa in line. We did an interview with her also. And so she had some great stories, obviously.
She's a wonderful teacher and writer.
Oh, yeah, she really is. And an entertainer.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she really is. Well, so I was intrigued by this book has lots of little stories and things. And how do you remember all that stuff?
Oh, well, of course I remember some. I remembered the stories, the events, but then I would have to call up my children and say, okay, help me out with this. Now, how did this go? And so that was it. Some of it I remember very well, and some of it I did need a little help with exactly what was the process here. And so they were a big help in putting it together. Or I'd ask the neighbor or whoever was involved in it too, if I needed some help. So if there were any mistakes in there, I'm just going to blame it on my children.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. You have a backup already.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, you know what's interesting, in some of the other, I found it intriguing, some of the other interviews we've done with we talked to Reese Martin, and of course we talked to Teresa, and that deadline thing seems to come up a lot, in that it's terrifying, but so important, so you have something to go for and something to produce. Otherwise, I guess you just get, I'll do something else,
Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy to put it off. But if you have a paper you have to turn in on Friday, well, then it kind of makes you put back all that online shopping or whatever else it was you were going to do, or maybe dusting the tops of the bookshelves. So yes.
Not that that's unimportant, but still.
Yeah, those things are important, but if you have a paper that's due on Friday, then you can dust the shelves on Saturday.
Yeah. Can you, so the book is about, well, you can say it better than I can, but these road trips and I get kind of why they were so important, and fun. Did you have any special, a particular one that really stands out to you?
Oh gosh, they they were all different, and some of them
Mhm.
were some of the stories in here are about road trips, and some of them are more about what did you do after you got to wherever it was you were
Mm.
going, because just driving down the highway isn't always fascinating. So there some about each. I find it interesting. I didn't write about this in the book, but sometimes a trip itself is something to learn from. My youngest daughter Maggie and I took a trip to Florida when her oldest son was just an infant. He was in his little infant seat in the back, and she bought one of those video players that fit on the back of the car
Mhm.
seat or the front seat. So, but because this was her first child, of course, we didn't want him to just watch movies or something the whole time. So that wouldn't be good for his brain. So I spent the first 3 hours we were on the road, turned around trying to entertain him, turn around like this,
Mhm.
doing whatever grandmothers do to entertain, and was exhausting. So when we stopped for lunch at noon, we went in, had lunch, and we came out and said, "Okay, now he'll take a nap. We can turn on the video." Oh my goodness, there was not a peep out of him. Of course, the rest of the trip, and we said, "All right, never mind the constant." The constant entertainment. It's fine if he's entertained by video instead of a human. So,
Yeah.
and now parents know that everywhere because children all have, even little children have devices and they all know
Mhm.
how to work them very well. It makes road trips real pleasant.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
A lot better.
fighting in the back seat, all that, you're touching me, all that kind of stuff. Uh, yes.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Those are important.
Yes. But so this book has some stories about what we did before everybody had their own device in their lap that they entertained themselves with.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school.
Old school stuff.
Yes.
It'll take you back to what your grandmother told you about road trips.
Yes. Well, Marion, what did you? I know you're a very giving person, and you've worked with a lot of nonprofit, boards and given your time to nonprofits, which is just so important, also. And you established with Joe Bob the Hille Foundation, uh, that I believe your daughter is part of now, also. Isn't that correct?
Yes, she's the executive director and she's my boss. She tells me what to do.
Oh, so nothing's changed since
Yeah,
she was a
look
little
at that.
kid.
And
That's
I
right.
think that's just great. You can be in charge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good. Well, I know you guys are doing some great things, and especially looking at the underserved uh,
Yes.
nonprofits and areas uh, of that. Um, what drew you to that? I know you've been a lot of time and stuff, and what is your driving force for donating like that? For donating time also?
Well, it kind of creeps up on you. I guess my father was on the Maybe board for years. So growing up, I always heard him say that what you give away gives you more joy than what you keep or what you have or what you can amass. So that was a lesson I heard often at the dinner table growing up, and Joe Bob and I decided early on that we wanted to do things especially for kids to help them get a start in life. He was from a little town. He was from Collinsville, and he said, there's the number of kids who go to college from Collinsville is not a great number, and he said it would be nice to be able to help children who maybe don't have that college idea in their head or some kind of training after high school or even to get through high school. It'd be nice to have an incentive for kids and to help them get past that next big leg so they could be prepared to earn their own living and have a good life.
Sure.
So that's how we got started. And that was baby steps. At the beginning, um, I Oh, I ran it, and I had a drawer in my kitchen. That's where I kept files, and I ran the whole thing out of my kitchen drawer. And and then later, I passed it over to Maggie's kitchen drawer. When that's my daughter, she moved back to Tulsa from Dallas, and so when she moved to Tulsa, I said, "All right, save a spot in your kitchen. You can handle this now." And then it's just, it got to be more and more and more. So
Blossomed, yeah.
it's been a great pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's great. Okay, so are you working on another book or something, or?
Well, I am, but I'm going to have Teresa have another class, because now I don't have any deadlines. So I find myself dusting the top of the bookshelf instead of working on it. But you're supposed to write about things that you know. So I thought I'm gathering stories about getting old.
Ah, well, that's, I don't know if I agree with all that, but yeah.
That's a cheerful topic. But actually, there's a lot of funny stories about old people and older people, and funny things that happen to older people and things that they do. So I've thought for quite a while that it would be fun to put together a book about getting old and older, and just funny stories about old people. And this would be not exactly a memoir, but these would all be, some of it would be memoir, but some that they're just stories that I've heard and from passed down from my parents or neighbors or relatives. It just, about getting old. It ain't all bad.
No, that sounds like fun, actually. I'm thinking of a lot of different stories. I don't know if sometimes you have stories you might do this and decide, should I put that in, or is that kind of a private thing, or what is
Sometimes
this?
you wonder if it's going to make somebody mad.
Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe you could have I forgot her name, Teresa, do like a tutor thing on Zoom, where you guys could, and she could give you the deadlines, and
that's right. Yeah, she'd make me read it to her out loud.
Yes. Yeah.
That is really terrifying. So anyway, having to present something to the class was scary.
Yeah,
but they were nice. Teresa made them be nice.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Hey, well, thank you for joining us today, and on this snowy day. Are you up at the lake, or are you at home?
I'm at home. I'm at home today. So it would be nice at the lake. They got even more snow than we did.
Did they really?
They usually get whatever we have. They get it worse or more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we got our fill for a little while. I saw snowmen, and I haven't seen snowmen since who knows when. It's been a lot of years.
Oh yeah, our neighbors across the street have 2 little kids, and they built a snowman, so we got to watch them do that.
Yeah, that was those things are fun. Well, thank you, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right.
Okay, thanks so much, Jeff.
All right, you're welcome, Mary Ann. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.